Good morning, everybody. I wanted to bring you some content. I know it's been a few weeks since May 1st that I brought you some content, and I did promise to bring you some content. And I didn't really hear about any new topics, but one of the topics I did want to touch on and talk about is leadership, because that was something that a lot of people have texted me, spoke to me offline, and everything else like that. But there was a few issues that were involved with that. And that was a topic I decided to go with. But I just didn't want to come from anywhere because, with leadership, me being a former Marine, we are taught small unit leadership. So leadership is very precise and everything else like that. So what I originally wanted to do was to go into how that works and how that can be translated into the corporate world, whatever world you in. That's what I wanted to do. But as I had that journey to relearn those things, it bled into power, which I think that's what's going on nowadays. People confuse leadership for power, and I wasn't sure if I wanted to do one whole video or did I want to break it up in two. And the reason why I'm telling you guys this is that's part of you guys being my audience. I want to be honest and transparent as much as I can with some of the topics I want to bring to the table. So as I was trying to navigate and figure that out, current events happen. Like I said, a whole construction site sounds like it's in my apartment, so sleep is dormant right now. And then I know the thing that everybody's talking about is Darth Diddy and that whole videotape, him running down the hallway with a towel on. And I'm like, we worried about the wrong stuff, and I just really thought that through all of this, I'm like, did I want to touch on it? Did I want to talk about it? Because I do struggle with things like that, because my hot takes are they're not for the lighthearted. Because, when I had conversations with people, I was like, I was more focused on the video with the leadership and breaking it up into power. But people asked my thought with the Diddy situation, and my whole thing was, I'm like, I don't know why y'all surprised. Like the alleged things you do accuse him of is worse than the video that came out. So my whole thing was like, you can accuse him of doing this nefarious stuff, but the video of the proof that we're not above that, and that confused me and everything else like that. And maybe I'm tiptoeing through tulips around it, because this is not what I wanted this video to be. And I just realized, what, I want to record this morning, tonight, whatever, because I want to give you guys some type of content and to let you know things that are going on with me and checking in with you guys. And thank you for the support. The first video, great views, got some subscribers, and I got a lot of support offline and everything like that. And I appreciate it. I appreciate it so much, because I didn't realize speaking my truth on things and embracing the whole coming back to social media thing, I didn't realize how much positive response that I would get, and I appreciate all of that. I think it was awesome. So I did not want to focus on celebrity drama, things like that. Like, I want to be able to do things that teach things, but at the same time, eventually, as I make more videos, I probably will talk about celebrity topics, but that's not what I want to do right away, because I want to establish who I am, the things I've been through, where I've been, and where am I at now mentally and in my life and my frame and everything else like that. So, but those were the combinations of why I didn't bring a video to you guys, but I just really felt the mood to talk to you guys and just let you know that, leadership, a lot of people in their jobs, in their workspace, they always talk about how whoever's in charge and whoever their manager is, they don't know what they're talking about. They're terrible. And those things might be true. Because even at work, I'm dealing with some of that, But due to the nature of my job, I'm not going to get into the inner workings of all of that. But I do understand when you have somebody that thinks that being in charge is just giving orders and not realizing that you are responsible for the people under you, their well-being and everything like that. And people just don't understand both sides, because I have the luxury of looking at both sides. I'm in the space, what I do at work is I can understand where a manager or supervisor or whatever, they see things that are wrong, and they want to correct it, they want to be better, but sometimes they struggle with, can I talk to them without offending them? Because, nowadays it's 2024, our Gen Xers, shout out to us, they used to tell us whatever they used to hurt our feelings and we just had to get better. But it's 2024, you can't talk to people the same way. So you have to figure out how to navigate that space. And a lot of people nowadays, they define leadership as somebody that allows people to allow them to get away with what they want to get away with. And that's not necessarily leadership, because you're doing a disservice when you do that. But at the same time, the other part people do not understand is your people that are under you, you have to give them some type of morale, because they always say a happy employee is an efficient employee. They say that. And it seems like that lost its own art form itself, because it doesn't matter what job it is. People don't care about more productivity. They rather beat the horse. You know what I'm saying? They rather beat you to submission. They browbeat you to do their will. And they don't realize that if you actually sit and listen to the people that, how we like to say in the military, my line of work, boots on the ground, sometimes you have to take time to listen to the boots on the ground and understand the issues that they're going through and address the issues the best that you can. But sometimes the boots on the ground, sometimes they don't realize that we cannot always address the issues that you want to be addressed and be the way that it is, because it's about accomplishing the mission sometimes. And the mission is bigger than you as an individual. You know what I mean? And so as I want to formulate all this together, I realized power played a role into it. And what I mean by that is people, they strive hard to get power. And once they receive that power, they will do anything to hold on to it, even do nefarious things, which goes back to Darth Diddy situation and everything else like that. Because at the end of the day, all of that, when you sift through all of that, all the distractions, all the morale part of it and all of that, it seems like at the end of the day, it's about maintaining power. And that's the part we do not look at, because people that are in leadership roles and roles of power, they do crazy stuff. Like I joke around with the whole, I guess the former Governor Cuomo, when it was like, oh, he was touching women and everything else like that. And I said, and I thought about it, because I do have dark humor. I'm gonna give a disclaimer. I do have some dark humor. Doesn't necessarily mean that it's the right thing, but I do have dark humor. So when everybody was talking about it, oh, it was a travesty what he did and this and that and the whole thing. And I said to myself, I said, self, if I was the governor of New York and I'm single and I got all types of money and security and whatever it is, I'm pretty much the most powerful man in the state of New York. Yeah, I'm touching women too. That it's just what it is. Like, because I don't understand how we can be oblivious to that. Because, you know, if you want to get on a morale horse real quick, these guys are not the gods that you believe in, because, you know, everybody has different religions. So they're not like your God or Jesus or your Prophet Muhammad, whatever you believe in. They're not them. They're human. They're not above sin and whatever the case may be. So it's crazy how we turn around and take these leaders and we try to hold them in a holy perspective when we don't even realize that they're not holy, they're human. Because, you know, like people, how we say back in the day, people be faking jacks. And the reason why I say people faking jacks, because if they're in the same position, they do the same thing to them. The only difference is half the people do the same thing these people do. The only difference is they're not public. They're in the shadows, so you don't see what they do. So, you know, with all of that, it's like, that's why I take stuff for a grain of salt. When I look at these news stories and this and that and politics, I take it as a grain of salt. Like, I was having a conversation with Chemistry 3000. Shout out to her. You know, she doing her thing with her page, so shout out to her. But as we're doing this YouTube thing, we had a conversation and she brought that up. And I said, you know, the whole, like, the beach body, blonde hair and the eyelashes and all of that kind of stuff. And I said, you should be embarrassed. As a person in America, that's how we conduct ourselves on the Congress floor. You know what I mean? Like, nobody's right in that situation. It's not a party thing or nothing like that. That's how we conduct ourselves. Like for real? Like, that's what we do. We name call. It's like, what are we, 7? Like, we have economy issues. Gas is too high. People spending $8,000 for 3 items at the grocery store, and you guys want to argue about eyelashes and beach bodies? Like, I think we're worried about the wrong things. And it's crazy because I always say that to my mother. Like, me and my mom, we haven't talked for a little bit, but I spoke to her recently. You know, mom's is good, you know. But we touched on that a little bit when I said people worry about the wrong things. And we always talked about that in the past. Like, people worry about the wrong things and you know, we have to worry about the real things that's going on. But a lot of this stuff is distractions. And as far as being that leader, sometimes we have to corral everybody else to not fall for the distractions and focus on the mission at hand, whatever that mission is, you know. And sometimes to be a good leader, you also have to be a good follower. You have to be able to listen to your people, you know, and know your people, know their strengths and know their weaknesses. Because what some people try to do is they try to force somebody to, I'm sorry, because I mean, I know this is a video. I want to give the authentic me tonight, because even though I did have topics and everything else like that, I just wanted to talk to you guys. So, you know, excuse me if I pause and things of that nature, because I'm just trying to get my thoughts and my words together on everything. But going back to what I was saying is, leaders sometimes don't use the people around their strengths. You know, like, if I know your strength is computer work, why I'm gonna have you try to assemble stuff on the factory line? That doesn't make sense. I should put you in a place where there's a computer, and if that's your world, that's where you're gonna succeed. And not for nothing, you're going to work harder and you're going to thrive And when people feel that they're working hard and they're thriving, they're going to be more likely to do work for you. But a lot of people don't do that nowadays. They want you to be good at everything. Not everybody's good at everything. And that's the part of the leadership portion, that people have to learn their people, know their strengths, you know. And, you know, with all of that, because as weird as it sounds, with all of this stuff, it seems like it is an offshoot on leadership. So it's kind of weird. Maybe this was what I need to see to maybe come with a message to talk to you guys about what I think about leadership. And of course, leadership cannot be wrapped up in one video, and there'll probably be a continuation, because my mission goal, my mission statement is to help people to become better leaders so we can lead, especially as men, because even in a relationship dynamic, there's a leader, there's a follower, and traditionally, men are viewed as leaders. And as men being leaders, you know, like, we have certain responsibilities. We have to look at things differently, you know, because how they say in The Godfather, they say women and children can be careless, but men cannot. Even though it's a movie, actually, it's one of the greatest movies of all time. That's my opinion, you know. But that was a quote in The Godfather. And with that being said, it's just, we have to look at, as men, we have to look at things from a different perspective, that we have to tighten up when it comes to our leadership and how we conduct business and things of that nature. And not for nothing, that's me included, because we're not perfect at all. But the biggest thing is we want the privilege of leadership, because leadership has a lot of privileges. Like, you know, like, you can, for an example, if you own your own business, you can come and go as you please. You can punch a clock wherever you want. But most people don't realize, when you own a business, you actually work more than you do as an employee. So, you know, people don't realize that part. So to actually be that leader, you have to step up and do certain things that you might not like, they might not be popular. Even decisions and thoughts that you make are not going to be the popular ones. Because even on my job, sometimes I make decisions, and it's not because I want to hurt the person or I want to belittle them or anything like that. It's because I have to sometimes look at the forest past the trees, you know. And sometimes I say, when people at the lowest totem pole, sometimes I envy the lowest people at the totem pole, because all they got to do is be responsible for themselves. And they don't realize how much of a privilege that is. Because when you actually have to look at well-being of others and to show people the right way and all of that, a good leader, in my opinion, they always question if they make the right decision. You know, like, when I was in combat, you know, out in Iraq, it was kind of like that. You saw the people in charge, they sit, and when we lost Marines and soldiers and everything else like that, imagine the sleep they don't get. You know, especially if somebody made the decision for them to go in that direction, and that direction got them killed. You know, and that's one of the hardest things that people don't realize on the grand scheme of things. You know, and I always say, people only live in their bubble. So, you know, they look at what they see in that moment. They don't see the bigger picture. And sometimes I'll try to explain the bigger picture, and sometimes even then some people don't get it, and I realize it's a futile argument. It's a waste of time, you know. And you just learn, like, you know, people just want the benefits. They want to get away with what they can get away with. And it's not a big deal to that, you know? Like, for me, I mean, my personal opinion is like, good for y'all. I'm like, shoot, like, I wish I get away with half the stuff y'all get away with. No, I cannot. You know, because as a leader, I hold myself accountable. I have people around me that hold me accountable for me. You know, shout out to my family. They hold me to the fire. No matter how much, how old I am, and me being a father, they hold me accountable for whatever it is. But sometimes they see it the way I see it. But nevertheless, because they hold me accountable, it allows me to try to make better decisions. And I have a supervisor, you know, like, because like I said in my first video, people that give compliments and, I mean, that say quotes, I will always credit them. And if they're watching this, they always say, I try to be a better person tomorrow than I was today. And if you're watching this, you know who you are. Shout out to you, because that's something that when I heard it, it was very profound. And I took real stock in that, because us as a people, as human beings, that's what we have to do. We have to strive to be a better individual tomorrow than we are today. And that's what a good leader does too. You know, they learn from the mistakes and retweak things and try to become better than what they were yesterday. You know, and that's what the pitfalls. I think that's why people wanted me to talk about leadership, because people are surrounded nowadays with that. People want the benefits of the leadership, but they don't want the responsibility, and nobody wants to call it out for what it is. You know, I always say I'd rather work for a consistent asshole than somebody who's wishy-washy. At least a consistent asshole, I know what I'm getting every single day. Like, I know how you want to operate, so that tells me how I'm going to move. So I don't want to keep you guys too much longer, because I know I'm looking at the time frame. We running 23 minutes for the video. But all in all, I just felt I needed to give you guys a little something today, because I know I haven't checked in and everything else like that. We're going to get more consistent. And I didn't get any feedback from a topic. That's another reason why, because I want to be able to talk about what you guys want to talk about. Because that's my thing too, because sometimes people want to hear thoughts on things that affect them in their lives. So that is my mission statement overall, and all that kind of stuff. So, you know, with that being said, you guys have a good morning. I'll check back in soon. And if you do have any topics, even if you don't put it in the comment section or YouTube, you can DM me in IG, Facebook, or some of my people, you got my number. You can directly talk to me, say, hey, I want a video on something like this. I got you covered. But just realize I like to do the research first. But like I said, today was more of a mesh. And I will probably do a formal video on leadership and the Marine Corps credos and things of that nature, and make it more formulated. But I just wanted to just have a conversation with you guys. So with that being said, hopefully you guys have a prosperous day. Happy Friday, Memorial Day weekend. And for us military guys, we know what Memorial Day truly means for us. It's our time to honor the ones that cannot be here. And if you are struggling with that kind of stuff, please reach out, talk to somebody. Don't suffer in silence on that, you know, because as us being combat veterans, it can be hard on us, and especially a weekend like this while everybody's barbecuing and everything else like that. It can be hard, it can be difficult. So please, you know, please reach out if you need to and everything else like that. There's phone numbers, there's the VA, all that kind of stuff. So with that being said, safe travels, and I'll talk to you guys soon.